What's good, folks? It's your boy Isaac, aka Polo, aka Young Polo, back with some more Polo Talk Sports, man. We got to keep this train rolling, man. We got to keep it moving. Let's get it. So, today's video is going to be Polo Talk Quarterback, because, I'm just going to talk about NFL, more specifically the quarterback position, where I do have, some past experience and expertise in myself. And we're just going to go division by division, and then I'm gonna tell you which teams in the division have the worst quarterback room. Now, if you have the worst quarterback room in the division, your chances to make the playoffs are super tough, and you're probably better off either rebuilding or trying to draft a quarterback or trying to trade for another quarterback because your current situation isn't sustainable. And let's just get right into it. So let's start in the AFC, the American Football Conference. Let's start in the East Coast. So AFC East, I got the New York Jets, man. This one's kind of a no-brainer. I know there's some people that might be down on Tua or might be down on Mac Jones, but I think Tua and Mac Jones are both solid NFL quarterbacks. Probably neither one will be top 10, but I don't think neither one will be a bottom 10 quarterback when they get everything figured out and they get a stable situation around them. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, he just got hurt again. He's set to miss the first game or two of the season with a preseason injury. Obviously, he missed a little bit of last year with injury. He's pretty flashy, a little bit similar to Aaron Rodgers, and just in terms of skill set, in terms of like loose athleticism with a crazy arm talent. But he's just he's a little off script. He's not necessarily your most consistent quarterback down in down out. But he's got a lot of talent, but I just don't think he's the long-term answer. I don't think the Jets will ever be able to figure it out. And yeah, moving on. Next division, we got the AFC West. Now, this division is loaded with quarterbacks. And I'm sorry, but I had to give my Fresno State Bulldog fellow alumni, Derek Carr, I had to give him the L in this one. He's just the worst starting quarterback in that division. And then at that point, once you have the star power at the top like you do with Mahomes, Wilson, and Justin Herbert, that kind of dictates your entire quarterback room. And, Derek Carr is not too far behind. I still think he's a top 15 quarterback. He's just not on that level, man. Even with Devontae Adams, with Darren Waller, I think he might put up crazy numbers, and I think he has a chance to sneak into the playoffs. But, that division is just stacked at the quarterback position. Next up, we got the AFC South. Now, this one was the closest one, or one of the closest one, honestly, because Trevor Lawrence really hasn't proven much in this league, but just his intangibles, the hype around him being the next Peyton Manning, next Andrew Luck, that's kind of enough to have a decent amount of expectations for him going into year two. Meanwhile, Davis Mills was kind of a surprise. I think he was a second or third rounder they drafted out of Stanford, one of my favorite college football programs. So I did watch him a little bit in college. He was kind of hurt all the time, which is surprising because I think he played the most out of any of the rookie quarterbacks from last season. He's showing some promise, but that organization, they lost J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson. They really lost all of the three best, franchise players in the last 5 to 10 years, and they really have no direction right now. So I doubt Davis Mills will be, a starter for the Texans or in the league for very much longer just because of his situation. Next up, we got the Steelers. Now, this was another tough one. We got the AFC North, and this was another tough one. Even though I like my guy, Mitchell Trubisky, I think he gets way too much hate. He made the playoffs 2 out of 4 years starting in the league, which is more than, most quarterbacks can say. But I am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers out of the AFC North. Obviously, we got Joe Burr. That's unlocked. We got Action Jackson in Baltimore. We know what that is. And now we got Deshaun Watson on the Browns too. And for all his offseason troubles, Deshaun Watson, when it comes to playing quarterback, he's a hooper. He got it all. Passer rating, he got the arm talent. He's a competent stand-up individual. I mean, so we thought. I guess he either fooled us all or, there's some foolery going around. Either way, Deshaun Watson does produce on the field. And the Steelers, even though Kenny Pickett might get the starting job, and I actually like Pickett. He's a little bit of a baller, but in terms of the tangible things that we can measure, arm strength, arm talent, elusivity, all of that, he's definitely dead last in the division. Even though Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson, aren't, world beaters thus far in their careers, even though Deshaun Watson is a little bit, I still think, the Browns got a little bit of the edge over the Steelers, and the Steelers, they might need to upgrade at quarterback, or we got to see what Kenny Pickett turns out to be. Next up, we got the NFC East. So going back to the East, my New York Giants, man. I bleed blue, but, our QB room is tough. We're still stuck on Daniel Jones. I wanted to get rid of him as soon as he hit his sophomore season. He had some flashes his rookie year. That's where Danny Dimes was born and where he was deceased in the same season. After that, he showed absolutely no promise. I think we're going into year 4 now, another prove-it year, and eventually, hopefully, Tyrod starts this season, and we can maybe try to sneak into a wild card or something like that. But our starting quarterback is one of the worst, if not the worst, in the league, and that by default gives us the worst quarterback room. Even though Tyrod Taylor slept on as backup quarterback, he's a starter for a good amount of teams in the league too, given the proper situation. Next up, we got the NFC West, a hometown favorite. I think they want me to say Trey Lance, but obviously, because I'm not too high on him, but I can't go that far. We all know it's the Seahawks. They messed up. They lost Russ, one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, the best quarterbacks in Seahawks franchise history easily. And, he's out the door. He's out in Denver now. And now they got Drew Lock, who's also slept on. Drew Lock and Mitchell Trubisky are two quarterbacks that I like that I feel like never have been given a fair shot. And when they have been given a fair shot, or at least in Mitchell Trubisky's case, he made the playoffs, more often than not, and with a roster that wasn't necessarily playoff caliber. Now, Drew Lock, on the other hand, hasn't really ever started a full season, which is where I think he's been at a disadvantage. I think he throws a lot of picks. He's a little reckless, but the talent is there, and I like he got a little swag to him. I like it, but he's too nonchalant, a little bit too Jay Cutler. Kind of needs to take control of his job and his role on a team, and we'll see what he could be. But the Seahawks are by far worst QB room in the NFC West. It's not even close. We got Kyler, we got Matty Statty, and we got whatever's left of Jimmy G and Trey Lance and the 49ers, which are still two quarterbacks that are better than Drew Lock today. And next up, we got the NFC South. Now I'm going with the Panthers, man. I'm not riding this Baker Mayfield hype train, this Panthers to the playoffs hype train. CMC's my guy, another Stanford Cardinal, one of my favorite college football programs. But CMC stays hurt, and even if he's healthy, I don't think the Panthers O-line is as good as people think they'll be. They were trash just last year. They made some additions. I think they'll be a little bit above trash. They'll be like garbage, I guess you could say, instead of trash. But they still won't be good. They'll be 25th or lower ranked in that category in the league for sure. And I like Mariota a lot. Even though Mariota's been hurt in this league, him on the Falcons, Desmond Ridder looks like, out of all the rookie quarterbacks after Pickett, I think Desmond Ridder looks like he has the most promise in terms of having the full package, being mobile, being able to read defense, make tough throws, and all that. And, Mariota is a perfect mentor for him. He's a professional, a grown man, and I just think the Falcons have the slight edge in the quarterback room over the Panthers because it's definitely between the two of them in the division. I know Jameis Winston isn't a world beater, but at this point he's still considered a starter, which is more than, the latter two teams' quarterback rooms could say. And last but not least, we got the Chicago Bears. Now, this one was super tough because we got Kirk Cousins. And if you know football, Kirk is just it's just Kirk Cousins, He's not trash, but it's Kirk Cousins, you feel me? But, he is, a Pro Bowl type, Jimmy G type, starting caliber quarterback in this league, mid-level of the pack, a little right behind where Derek Carr and a Dak Prescott would be. That's where you got your Kirk Cousins, That's where you got your Kirk Cousins. And with all the weapons around him, he is liable to eat this year. They got a new offensive head coach, so he is liable to, 4,000 yards, 35 tugs, under 15 to 10 interceptions, something like that. He is liable to put up great numbers as he's done throughout, most of his career. And I had to go with the Chicago Bears, though. Justin Fields is my guy. I think he's going to end up being the best out of that quarterback group that was drafted last year eventually. Hopefully he can get in a good situation. If not, he may never see his full potential. But Justin Fields, man, that offensive line, those lack of weapons, it's just going to be a tough year for him to produce. I think he could thug it out, and maybe they can sneak into the wild card, but they're going to have to beat a Minnesota with all these weapons on offense. They're going to have to beat even a Detroit with, Jared Goff is not no slouch. That's why I couldn't put Detroit in the conversation. He's played in the Super Bowl not even 3-4 seasons ago. So it's not like we could just sweep that under the rug. But that concludes my video. This is Polo Talks Quarterbacks, and if one of your teams, made this video and is on the list, hopefully they can upgrade soon. I know I'm praying on my Giants. We out.